Right, so it looks like we've got a few people in the session tonight, some that might be joining us for the first time and others that have been here for the previous two. So welcome again to the third session of our club development series. I think we'll get underway. We're 7:05. So I just wanted to welcome everyone tonight to Marketing Your Club, the third in Leisure Network's 4-part club development series. My name is Tim Downs and I'll be your host for this evening's session. A quick reminder for anyone that hasn't already to put your microphone on mute to ensure the best quality sound and vision for you all. Like in previous sessions and probably in other webinars and sessions you've been involved in, we will use the chat function for interaction and questions. So depending on your use of device, you'll find the chat bubble on the toolbar, which is the third icon from the left, or in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It is your right to choose your level of participation in the session tonight, and we are very happy to chat via phone, email, virtually following tonight's session. Also, just a reminder that this session is being recorded. So if you don't want to have your face in the recording, feel free to turn your video off. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet tonight, acknowledging we are all meeting from various parts of the state. I'm here in Geelong, home of the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and to any emerging leaders we may have joining us tonight. As I said from the top, tonight's the third of a 4-part series of community-based clubs and series for community-based clubs and associations across the Barwon region. And I'd like to welcome you all, along with the State Sporting Association reps we have online tonight. So I do notice that Chris Crabb from Golf Oz is here with us this evening. So welcome, Chris. The series has been developed in response to in excess of 500 conversations held across regional Victoria since March, where we asked what were the biggest concerns for clubs and their members due to the impact of COVID. Tonight, we will present information relating to marketing and the role this plays at your club or association. So I'd now like to introduce our presenter for tonight, Prue Farah from Leisure Networks. But before I get Prue to speak, I've just got a little bit of an intro, a bit of a blurb about Prue. So Prue brings extensive experience in both marketing and business to Leisure Networks, having held various management positions across a number of industries. Prue holds a Bachelor of Business, majoring in accounting with a sub-major in commercial law. Prue successfully co-founded and managed a self-contained accommodation 5-star tourism business in Halls Gap / Grampians for 14 years. Prue ran all aspects of the tourism business from financials to marketing and sales, along with web development. Following on from the successful sale of her tourism business, Prue held the position of Grampians marketing manager for 2 years and was even lucky enough in 2015 to be awarded a 3rd place in the Victorian Tourism Awards for her destination tourism marketing campaign for the Grampians region. We're very lucky to have Prue with us tonight, sharing her knowledge and expertise. Along with me tonight is my colleagues Brooke Connolly, Jesse Drever and Michael King, who will assist and moderate the chat function, and we'd love to see some great interaction here. So if you have any questions for Prue over the course of the presentation, please feel free to throw them into the chat channel and we'll do our best to answer them over the course of tonight. So before handing over to Prue, there's just 2 quick questions that I would like to ask, and hopefully you're able to use the chat function to answer these. But as a club or community group, what marketing platforms does your club currently use? So that could be Facebook, Instagram, website, MailChimp, whatever you use to get your message to your members. So if you wanted to write that into the chat function, that would be great. And secondly, do you have a committee member or volunteer that looks after your club's marketing portfolio? So if you do, great. If you don't, that's okay. Hopefully content from tonight will assist you in maybe trying to find that appropriate person to really take your club marketing to the next level. So before further ado, I would like to bring Prue Farah to the fore and share her content on marketing your club. Thanks, Prue.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for the introduction. I think that was way over the top, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is just share my screen with everybody, and I might actually turn the video off, as much as I'd love to have it on, but we've had just a few technical difficulties already because I'm in Bowen Heads and it seems to be quite windy at the moment. So I'll turn the video off, but again, just keep the chats going, and I think Tim and Jessie will manage that as well. So. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see this. So I guess, is that all good, everybody? Tim? Yep.
All good, Prue.
All good. Thanks, Jessie. Just wanted to make sure before I started going on. Okay, so I guess everyone's here tonight, and I really do appreciate your time, because I know it's it's certainly valuable and important. But COVID really has impacted the sporting sector in such an unprecedented way, and I don't need to tell you this. You guys are the experts. And I guess in order to thrive as a grassroots club and continue to contribute to the success of the community, you probably need to really deliver one thing, and that one thing is growth. So we've all got more than ever, have we got time constraints, we've got massive budgetary constraints. So we really need to work together with our committee members to be smart about it and look at how we're going to attract and retain members. So marketing among the community is really your route to that growth. So tonight we're just going to look at a few little bits and pieces about social facts. So why should you be on social media? We'll identify a few different channels, and you will see in the next couple of slides there are so many channels out there, but we've just identified Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. For example, Facebook has over 2.4 billion active users a month. Instagram has over 1 billion hits per month. So they really are an important channel to look at. And really, I guess from your perspective, we really need to use those stories and look at engaging with our current members and also spreading the story to new and existing members. We're going to look at your website. Your website is your #1 marketing asset. It really is the hub of where everything points to. So all your social media, all your advertising, everything should really be pointing to your website. So it's really vital that that website is a true reflection of who you are and who you stand for in the community. And it needs to have a very good user experience. So is the users coming to your website, are they coming and having a great experience, or are they getting frustrated because they can't find where to buy memberships? And then we'll just look at a few other considerations. So why social? 96% of Australians use social or messaging each month. That's over an hour and a half average time per day using social. So we really do have a lot of time to connect with people that are using social media. And just to let you know, these statistics were done prior to COVID, so I would envisage that this is a lot more time too. 6.1 is the average number of accounts per user. By this, we mean they have 6 active accounts. So you might have an active profile on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. So you've got 6 accounts. So social media really is a great way to attract new members and engage with existing members. And they really are a platform that can shape our culture because they're very visual and they form the basis of our communication. So your club, if it's not already, which I'm pretty sure most of you will be, really needs to get into the mix. And as I mentioned, if you really do take away one thing tonight, there is so many channels out there. There's plenty of choice. But rather than utilising absolutely every platform, because you don't have to be that, just pick a couple, find out where your existing members are and dedicate resources to doing them and doing them well. So what are the most used social media platforms? Well, this is just a little takeaway, again, from January 2020. And you can see the top sort of 3, 4 most used social media platforms. So you look at YouTube, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. But what I really loved about COVID, I guess, was seeing some of these other social media platforms, which you may not be active on, but you could certainly identify. And TikTok was one of those. It's the fastest growing platform. And why? Because it has such a great intergenerational reach between sort of kids and grandparents, parents and grandparents, kids. I think we can all remember over COVID, we might have seen on Facebook, we might have seen on Instagram, particularly I think the ones that I remember are some of the AFL coaches and their kids, and then they were actually having a TikTok off. So yeah, a really, really fun platform to get a lot of reach out of. So Facebook facts, there's 17 million active users in Australia. So that's 76% of all adults can be reached by Facebook ads. 50% use it daily. And it really is one of the widest demographic platforms. It's a great channel for you to potentially look at back-end advertising on Facebook, because what it allows you to do is it allows you to actually look for, who is your audience? So what ages are they? What postcode are they? What are their interests? So it allows you that, and this platform allows you to have that really big reach. It's a great channel for you to not only attract new members, as I mentioned, but it's also a great way to engage with your existing members. So who's a good fit for Facebook? And again, they're just general statistics, but if you're wanting to reach people over 55, mums with young children, those experiencing disadvantage, those in rural or remote areas, or if you have a multiple audience demographics, as we just mentioned before, or you have a very specific, again, if it could be a particular postcode or audience, you're able to niche to target. So this is just a couple of examples. And again, I think one of the big things that I've really learned about social media is just to do. You might get it right, you might get it wrong, but you will learn. And the only way to do that is to populate the Facebook pages with some content. What I really loved about this one, and it's just a very simple one, but it was sharing real images, real members, and real stories. It was a post that was done on Mother's Day. It had the headline, "There is no better day than today to celebrate some more beautiful hockey mums." And these three gorgeous young women are up the top pregnant, and the photos down below actually show them with all their bubs. So again, it's just that it's the real stories, and it's you really are connecting with the emotion. This one's just from my little hometown in Bowen Heads. And what I liked about this was, again, just a really great topical post during COVID. So here's the president, with the one line, social distancing with a victor, can you help? Really simple call to action. But again, it was humanising the president of the club, willing to roll up his sleeves and get the job done. It was a great picture, so it was an eye-catching picture and very short and to the point. This one's a little bit different. So this is from an example from the Elwood Bowls Club. But again, it's a bit of fun, new essential accessory coming soon. It's keeping your club on brand, it's engaging your members through COVID and building, again, strong brand awareness. I think one of the things, and I don't think, many people would, because sponsors are just so vital to the financial viability, obviously, of our club. So again, how are you engaging with your sponsors? How have you been engaging with your sponsors over COVID? Have you been giving them a call out? What's new in their world? So I guess these are just a couple of little examples just to say, not to forget to engage with your sponsors. Really simple one, Port Melbourne Football Club, I like sort of what they did was they did a campaign over, the course of COVID. So for this one, it was Sponsor of the Week number 26. Okay, so we mightn't all have 26 sponsors, but again, they did a campaign. So every week they just highlighted a sponsor. So what are some of the key takeaways of Facebook? And look, there's so many, and there's just, I guess you can spend a lot of time. But one of the big things is to utilise, if you're not, utilise the Insights tool on Facebook. It really is a great tool. It allows you to actually understand your audience that little bit more. It allows you to find out when they're online. It allows you to find out the demographics of them. It allows you to find out when the best time to post is. And it also allows you to actually have a look at your engagement rate. Are you actually benchmarking your engagement rate? Benchmarking is really important, because you might think that you might have 50 likes on a particular post, but did you actually have a good engagement? Because that's when you get further reach. So above 10% is generally the industry benchmark. Emojis, are you using emojis? They do increase engagement. One study shows that emojis in a tweet increases engagement by 25%. And in Facebook, a post, it can increase likes by more than 50%. So emojis really are the way to go. Facebook retargeting. Not sure many of you are using this, but it really is like a superpower. So you can use it to reach past members with new campaigns. So you can reach people who visited your website last week, because you can understand who it is and who watched your video. So the first step to retargeting is to make sure that you have properly installed what we call a Facebook pixel. And I'm sure many of you have, but if you haven't, it's very easy to download. So you can simply just Google it, get Facebook Pixel, which is a piece of code for your website, and that allows you to measure, optimize, and build audiences for your ad campaigns. Again, I think we did put in the chat, but I don't have the chat function open. But is, sort of, I guess we were talking about that. Tim asked the question, ensure someone in your club is responsible for the communications. It's really vital that someone is taking accountability for it. And I know sometimes it can be hard and resources are obviously scarce. One of the ways to maybe look at doing it is identify and really plan out over the month, how many posts per week and how often will you share. You don't have to post every day. You don't have to share every day. But each week, I've just given an example, maybe share one image, one video, one link, one text, and see what works. Just mix it up a little bit, but be really consistent when you post. And that's really based on the Facebook insights that I just showed you, to find out when your actual audience is online. And this may take a little bit of time. I know pre-COVID, a lot of the time when we were really posting to grab club members and club volunteers, it really was later in the evening. It was when they'd actually been to their sporting club. It's when they'd had dinner and they were sitting perhaps down on the couch and having a cup of tea. Another really good thing to do is to mix up your content. I think the worst thing about sometimes social media is if you haven't got any content, you tend to really go, oh my goodness, I don't have something, I better quickly post something. Don't need to do that. If you do a content planner for the month, you really can look at the content. So look at vision and values. So messages that further what your club stands for. Look at education pieces, articles of interest, educating your audience, give your audience direct value from engaging with your social media. Some conversation starters, some general engagement, feel-good stories. What's been happening in your club? What have your members been up to? And then club news post-COVID. How has the club changed? What can your members expect? If you're going to advertise on Facebook, make sure you use Ads Manager, which is what we were just talking about. It is really rather than just boosting a post. And there's nothing wrong with just boosting a post, but again, it allows you to really reach that audience that you are wanting to attract. So if it is by postcode, if it is by interest, if it is by age, if it is by gender, whatever you are trying to attract in that particular area, Facebook Ad Manager will allow you to do that. Another really cool tool at this stage is called Facebook Creator Studio. And again, if you're aware of it, it's a great tool. It is very much in its early infancy. So there are a few glitches, but it's a great tool because it does allow you to schedule both Instagram and Facebook at the same time. You will have different audiences for Facebook and you will have different audiences for Instagram. However, if your strategy for your social media is to actually saturate the market with the same messaging, then it really does become an invaluable tool for you. Identify ongoing themes for your content planner. Just pull out little quotes and inspirations, tips, hot topics behind the scenes. What are the members doing behind the scenes? What's the volunteers? What are the players doing? Is there any volunteering opportunities that you're looking for? Again, this will all impact how you actually advertise and what content you write on your Facebook. Look at how or who the club helped this week, humour, news. But again, I just go back to the plan, and plan. Use a content planner included in the social media resource. So before I just pop onto Instagram, I'm not sure anyone had any questions, or is anybody using a content planner at this stage?
There's a few examples. So Lorraine, in regards to what you mentioned before, what Port Melbourne did with their sponsors, Lorraine at Lara Giant said that they promoted their sponsors and I guess gave a bit of background information on each sponsor and particularly what they were doing and how they were affected by COVID. So that was certainly one example, and it seems like there's a lot of people that are using or utilising Facebook for their marketing, which is great.
Fantastic. Well, that's awesome. So I suppose the next one we'll go on to is Instagram. But so Instagram's a great tool, very easy to use, and I'm sure many of you are already on that too. And if you're not, there's 1 billion active users. That's 5 million active Australians. Instagram stories is an interesting one, and I'm not sure whether everyone's doing it, but it is a fun tool. I think you can have a lot more fun with it because there's a lot more, using sort of the emojis, and they have over 400 million active daily users. So I think when we talk about a young demographic, we think Snapchat. I think I know I'm a parent with 3 teenagers, and they certainly do have Snapchat. But if you look at Snapchat, they only have over 100 million active users. So they have Instagram stories have over more than double the active users. So really interesting fact, I thought, considering my kids spend their life on it. So 80% also of Instagram users really do follow a business. So I think for a lot of us, we sort of have that feeling, we're just there and we're looking at family and friends, but they're not. 80% of Instagram users are following a business. So it really is a great channel to be on if you're not already. 60% use it every day. 71% of global users are younger than 35. 25 and older use it for 24 minutes per day. Again, I go back to the engagement rate, and I guess this is really just talking about, we talked about the Facebook engagement rate being over 10%. Instagram engagement rate, a benchmark for sporting clubs, is what I looked at, which was 2.28% on average. So they're a really good benchmark, and also looking at your return on investment. So, so how far are your posts actually reaching? So that's the percentage of people that have seen your content and taken action as a result. It's a great fit to attract people to your club, and it's a visual platform that allows you to show the culture. This one's just a really quick example. Again, you don't have to, you don't have to be everything to everyone, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But videos are a great way to stop the scroll. So once a user has spent a long time engaging with one of these posts, your next post is likely to rank high on their newsfeed, and that's because the Instagram algorithm thinks they like your stuff. And again, this is a really simple little video of a Wednesday night training in a Sydney soccer club. So, just look at your Instagram strategy. So post with at least one hashtag, gain 12% more engagement. I've put in a few little apps which I love to use, and if you're not already using them, they're really, really simple. You don't have to use all of them, but maybe just after the presentation, go away and have a bit of a look. They're really fun. So there's one called Canva, which is a graphic design tool. WordSwag, which I think has been around for quite some time. Lumen 5 is a really interesting one. It's a great little app, and it actually picks up information from your website. And so if you're at the moment, if you're writing blogs, it can actually pick it up and then put it together for you. So it's a really simple, easy tool to use. Best time to post is a Monday and a Thursday at 2 a.m, 8 a.m, and 5 p.m. Look at also potentially, who are members of your club. Consider an influencer as a strategy to get the content. Consider them to get more followers and get further reach. Consider the strategy for members with a high number of followers to repost, and consider using a competition to increase engagement. One of the really big the campaigns that we ran when I was in tourism was that the content we really wanted was that we wanted images. We wanted to be able to have a beautiful library of images, and we really just didn't have it. So what we did was run an Instagram campaign where if they hashtag, visit Grampians, they would then go in the running to win a camera. So we had, thousands and thousands of entries, which was fantastic. But what we were able to do, instead of having to pay a photographer to come and take all these images, 4,000 images, we didn't have to pay for that. So it's a bit of a, sort of looking at what you're lacking and what you need, and potentially running a competition. LinkedIn is, we'll just talk a bit about LinkedIn. So again, I'm not sure how many are active on it or not, but it's the #1 professional networking site in the world. There's 610 million members. That's 4.2 million active Australians. And I guess really for a club, it is a database of prospective clients and contacts. So who's a good fit for LinkedIn? So if you need to reach people in a particular industry sector or profession, if your goals are aligning with corporate partnerships or volunteer programs, it's great for charities and non-for-profits and potentially clubs who want to fundraise and seek sponsorship. And it's a great channel for clubs to really reach out to organisations that are aligned with your values and mission, that you don't compete with, but are mutually beneficial for both parties. So we'll move on to the website, unless anyone's got any further questions. But, you know, this is I guess it's a really opportune time after we've just sort of coming out of COVID to really, I guess, sit back and take stock of your website and really analyse it, because it is your hub and you can make a great impression here. It's, as I said at the start, it's where all your advertising and social media should be pointing. It is your call to action to get new members. And I think, you know, I sort of think about it as a new family has just come into the community. They've seen this awesome, you know, tennis club, football club, and they're like, oh, I really want to be part of that. So if they're like me and like the rest of the world, you'll go home and you'll Google it and straight away it'll go to your website. So this really is your #1 marketing asset. So it's so important to have an easy to read website that is representative of your community and what you stand for. And without an appealing, constantly updated club website that screams about everything good about your club, you're potentially putting those customers off joining. Again, it should be easy to navigate as people are time poor. They want to have things in front of them. So we really don't want to put them off by not having good visuals. So great visuals and language, showing the visitors to your page what you stand for. Again, providing that user with an excellent experience, not a frustrating one. And this can often be the case is if you think, great, I've got this awesome video, I'm going to pop it onto my website, but just don't upload it as autoplay, because for every additional second it takes to upload this will result in a loss of 7% engagement. A way of being attractive to future members is to, again, also have accessible policies, as it shows your club takes safety and providing an inclusive environment quite seriously. So these are just a couple of examples of a couple of websites, and I might throw it over to you, but can anyone, I guess, you know, what's your first impression of the website on the left-hand side? You know, does it tell you about what that Tennis United club is about? Does it tell you who your members are? Does it tell you where, you know, does it make you feel engaged with that particular club? I'm not sure anyone's going. I guess to me, yes, it's quite easy. You can see where to purchase a membership. You can see the registration page, but it's not engaging at all. I'm not engaged by it. Is anyone else?
Not by the looks of the comments, Prue. I think they're on the same side as you, which is great.
That's good. And I guess there's really no reason in this world, like at the moment, to not have a really lovely visual representation of your club on your website. The one on the right, okay, again, not fantastic, but it's still better. It still gives you a picture of, you know, of who they are as a club. It also shows you that this example was done back in May, so I'm assuming that it's actually been updated. But again, they're quite proactive. They're updating. They're keeping their members up to date about COVID-19. And then, you know, it mightn't have absolutely everything, but you know that you can go to the hamburger menu, which is the little menu button there, and drop down, and that's where you'll be able to find your membership. But again, it doesn't scream engagement, emotion. Yes, I want to be part of that. So this next one, to me, is a bit of fun. It's warm, it's friendly. It makes you want to be part. They all look like they're having incredible amount of fun. You know, there's men, there's women, there's young, there's old. There's also, they've very highlighted all their major partners. It's also, you can see where their menu shows their functions, their membership, partners, about us. So really, really easy to navigate. The other thing which we mentioned about not having autoplay, so they have popped a video on their homepage, but again, it's not done as autoplay. So if someone's actually looking up here, it's not going to just start playing and then hold them back a bit. So they actually have to click on play. So when we look at some of the content, it really is queen. So applying an attraction strategy is designed to funnel your audience through to engaging and signing up. Messages delivered as stories. So if you've got any stories around the club, and I'm pretty sure everybody does, and they can be up to 22 times more memorable than just facts. You need to find your tribe and connect with the audience. So, really looking at telling those stories in the right place. So what channel are your audience engaging with to the right people? Who is your audience? Are you talking to the mums and the dads? Are you talking to the kids? Are you talking to the members? Are you talking to the volunteers? Are you talking to the sponsors? And then also at the right time. So really utilising any insights that you can. So it could be Google Analytics, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram. When are they online? So ensure, because you can have the best post possible, but if they're not online and they're not engaging with it, you will get no reach. So always ask yourself, what's in it for my followers on every single post? You can't, if you can't answer this, just rethink what you have written and said. But again, this is the thing. You really just have to keep playing around to work out when the best time is. So, really, as we just spoke about, depending on who you're talking to, the way you communicate a message can vary considerably. And I would, urge you to spend some time on really understanding your audience. So where are your members spending their time and what channel? For most now, I know particularly with some of my children and their netball and football, it's usually a communication app on their smartphone, such as WhatsApp. For adult members, it might be the more traditional technology, such as email or a text message. But we really need to look at the way that we're knowing our audience and the way that we're talking. So our voice and our personality on social media is friendly, warm, is it light and fun, inclusive, and welcoming? How do you want to convey any of your messages when you're talking to your audiences? And really, your best content will come from finding your best storytellers. So again, your members, your partners, your advocates, your volunteers, your community. So what will your content provide for your fans and followers? Will they feel more engaged to the community? Will they live more active lives, live more happier lives, and feel more connected? And again, it's really about knowing your audience and also having a social media strategy. So we know we all have super fans out there. So there's heaps of fans, heaps of people out there that are massive fans of all your clubs. So don't be afraid to show them off by posting fan-worthy content. Why not, for example, send out a membership pack to those that you can see are potentially on your social media channels a little bit more than normal, and they're grabbing your attention. So, and they've actually helped you reach a number. I've put 10,000 membership, because there's nothing better than user-generated content. This is just a really quick example of Coast Schedule, who send out swag to all those that grab their attention on social media. So those people then often share the pictures of themselves decked out in their swag, and it's just so awesome to see. And then it gets further reach and further engagement. Really knowing your audience, again, don't be frightened to share your emotion and to share the vulnerabilities. And particularly, I guess, as we all have had, the unprecedented way that COVID has impacted the sporting community. So you really do admire a character more for trying than for their successes. It's important as a club to show your vulnerabilities and who you are. Again, I go back to that same sort of messaging. Know who you're talking to. How do you want to talk to the parents? Potentially, the parents really want to feel that it's a safe environment for their kids, and that they know that they can leave their children there for the training. Volunteers, it might be really just about, when the next working bee day is. Players, well, that could be just a bit more fun. What events are going to take place? What's happening in the community or businesses? Again, just really taking stock of your voice and personality on social media. Is it friendly? Is it warm? Is it light? Is it fun? Is it inclusive? And really, is it welcoming? We go to inclusive language, and the way, again, we promote our club on social media talks so much about the members we have. So we really need to be extremely mindful of the language we use that best demonstrates our club and what we want to be known for. We need to understand that our memberships are made up of a number of minority groups, and this is so important in the visuals that we display as well. We need to be respectful. We're all equal and deserve to be treated the same regardless of how we look and present ourselves. And research really does demonstrate that inclusive cultures are high-performing cultures. Language is a powerful tool for building inclusion. And this is just a little simple, sort of visual, but again, it's all about your visuals. You really don't want to let poor visuals get in the way of selling your club. And I think sometimes, and we don't look at it, and we really don't want to, but I guess essentially the membership at your club, it is a business. You're selling your club to potential new members. So maybe, sometimes we just need to get in the mindset of being in a product-related business and that people need to get convinced to buy into. So just a few other little different, sort of other considerations. Do you have a follow back strategy? So 30 to 40% will follow you back. Are you actually following them? Are you inviting your likers to follow your page? A really, really simple one, but someone likes a post, they don't like your page. You can actually follow that. You can actually go into the back end of Facebook and you can highlight it, and then they can ask them to like it. And Facebook will only allow you to do this, and I think they'll only allow it twice a year, so they won't keep bugging them. So if you've sent them a request to like you or to follow your page and they haven't, it'll only do it in another 6 months. And what hashtags are you using? People do actually follow hashtags. And, I think a while ago it used to be that we looked at 30 hashtags, but 10 hashtags are recommended. So if you're not using hashtags, I do recommend that you use it. Analyze your competitors and your heroes. So what are they doing well that you could possibly implement? Again, there's a really easy tool to do that. You can actually follow that in Facebook as well. So you can actually benchmark yourself and your club against other clubs in the community. You can look at also leveraging trending topics. This is just a website where you can go and find some topics to leverage. You can also look at trending themes. I think we've probably all seen a lot of those, which could be examples such as Throwback Thursday, Wellness Wednesday, I think Sunday Fun Day, sort of all those sort of things. So if you really are a little bit stuck, sometimes you can look at that. But when you look at your content planner, look at the month ahead, look at it and say, okay, so what public holidays have we got on? So we might have Christmas Day coming up, New Year's Eve. So, and then you just sort of populate all your content around those special days, because then that's what you want to post. And it just makes sort of planning and, trying to find content so much easier, instead of, every day going, oh goodness, I've got to post something. What am I going to post? What's happening? Create videos. Videos are so easy these days. We've all got those phones. Create a 50-second video. Even simply just take a video of everybody training, or everybody coming back to training, and what maybe some little interviews. What's everyone been up to during COVID? What have you missed the most? And you could just have a little campaign about that, and really roll that along for the next month. Promoting online and offline, again, how are people seeing your club, and advertising, I guess, what's working, what's not, and are you really measuring your return on investment? And that's pretty much it from me, except for if everyone's got any questions.
Excellent. Thanks, Prue. That was fantastic insight in regards to marketing your club. And if anyone feels comfortable, you're more than welcome to write down the 3 key learnings that you had from this session, or even the 3 key things that you might like to do when you go back to your club. If you do have any questions for Prue, now's the time to ask. So please feel free to pop them into the chat function, or feel free to take your microphone off mute. I know Brooke has put in a link to Sport and Rec Victoria grants, category 3, where you're able to apply for funding for or to create a new website. And I know that there's a fair few clubs that might just get the stock standard website you might get from My Cricket or Sports TG or the like, which probably doesn't give you too much of an opportunity to put your spin or your flavour on your website. So yeah, please feel free to check out that grant. And going to a few things that Prue said, the Geelong Dragons Facebook page, we sort of put a bit of a player profile over the course of COVID, and I know that a lot of them enjoyed seeing their face on social media, and that's probably where we gained our highest engagement across social media. So please feel free to take something from someone else, because I know that we're all taking different ideas from different people. So that was great content, Brew. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise over the course of tonight. That was great, and particularly to see those stats behind it all as well. Some might be quite adverse to using Facebook or Instagram, and I think Brooke might have given Sarah Naylor a bit of a nudge to utilise TikTok as well. That's fast becoming popular, and a few of those toilet roll videos that we might have seen being flicked from one person to the other certainly gained a fair bit of traction as well.
Yeah, there is a new app coming out. I don't think it has actually been launched yet, because I think there has been a little bit of, I guess, worry with TikTok. I think we've all heard that in the media. So Instagram is in the process of launching their own sort of little TikTok, sort of tool to try and, I guess, to rattle TikTok a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes, because I think a lot of us feel a bit more comfortable with Instagram in who owns it versus TikTok. So yeah.
Hey, I don't want to put you on the spot here, Prue, but
you will.
I saw something. I saw that Twitter, you can now do stories on Twitter, I think. Is that a useful platform, or probably not as great as sharing your message compared to the others?
Look, I think it absolutely is. It's got a huge following as well. So it just depends on where your audience is again. I think particularly, like, we've utilised it very much at Leisure Networks, but it's very much been driven by probably our CEO in that aspect. But again, I think clubs, there's a lot of active clubs on Twitter. And yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great tool.
Excellent, thanks, Brett. And I'm also thinking off the top of my head, this might be a nice little episode for the LN Connect podcast. So a little shameless plug there if you haven't checked that out already.
Great way to communicate, having a podcast.
So I think Kinger's Corner might be a good one for the next episode. But if no one has any further questions, and I don't know if there's any more coming through, what we might do, we might wrap the session up there, but just wanted to thank everyone for their attendance, and we will be sending out the recording, and any links and session notes will be sent out in an email post this. But a big thank you to obviously Prue again, but also everyone for attending and doing the amazing work that you're doing, particularly over the COVID period, and as we bounce forward into a new norm, continue to do what you're doing, and a big thanks to SRV and Vic Health for supporting our ongoing club development work, and thanks to Jesse and Brooke and Michael for facilitating the chat function tonight as well. So please feel free to provide any feedback. Let us know what you thought of the session. And potentially what you're doing at your club that you might need any assistance with. More than happy to help, and I'm sure Prue's happy to answer any of those questions as well. So
yeah, and I think, can I just jump in and just probably the one big thing, and I'm sure we'll be able to provide it, but really, I know I harp on it about it, but content planning is just such a really big one. And I think for all of us that really are time poor, we sometimes go, I don't have time to plan. But if you can plan a month out, I just feel you will then, if you're doing that with your social strategy in mind, I think it's a really good way to kick off, 2021. And it'll provide you with tools throughout the whole year, and anyone to be able to pick it up too.
And as you said in the presentation, Prue, plan. That'll be great. So we do have our final and fourth and final session on the 9th of December, I think, which is about thinking sport differently. So we're going to provide some case studies from local sporting clubs and community that have really utilised this time to think a little bit laterally in terms of their strategy or governance, infrastructure and participation. So we do have one key speaker in Mark Neal from Geelong United Basketball that will certainly share his thoughts and the association's thoughts on what they've been doing during this time moving forward. So thanks again. Make sure the booking link is exactly the same for the fourth session as well if you haven't already got your ticket to our fourth and final session. So thanks again for joining us. Keep up the great work and look forward to catching up with all of you next time.